right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Father's Day today. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. All right, we're just gonna get on ahead into it, and I don't foresee being on long. I don't plan on it, but let's see how it goes. Okay, but I never write anything out. I just have it in my mind what I'm gonna talk about, and then we just flow. All right. But I want to talk about affirmations today. Okay, you see, it posted the title for the video is affirmations, and um, I guess you could say the way I've looked at affirmations, like sometimes we've been hearing about affirmations for a long time, and usually when we think about affirmations, we think about it in the the positive sense, saying things to ourselves about ourselves to uplift us. And then you hear some people say that they don't really believe in affirmations, which I'm not quite sure what exactly they mean when they say they don't believe in affirmations. You know what I'm saying? Unless if they are saying that they don't believe that they work. You know, saying these positive things to yourself unless they feel like they don't work. Okay. Um so let's look real quick at the root word of affirmation, okay, which is what? Affirm. What does affirm mean here? Okay, of course, I'm looking on Google. To state as a fact, assert strongly and publicly, or offer someone emotional support or encouragement. Okay, so, and you would be affirming, you would be offering uh, doing an affirmation for yourself, you would be affirming emotional support or encouragement for yourself. You would be encouraging yourself. So affirmations are there to support us emotionally and also offer encouragement to the self. Now, I'm going to look up something else real quick. Usually, when people talk about, now when I do my zodiac readings, my intro, I always have few affirmations. I will say, repeat. I am wonderful. I am marvelous. I am magnificent. I am splendid. I am perfect. I am thankful. I am grateful. I am loved. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am wise. I am the master and creator of my own fate. I am the master and creator of my own destiny. I am my fate. I am my destiny. I am the all that is all that ever was and ever shall be. I love myself. There was a woman, I got it over there somewhere, that I met in Atlanta maybe about 8 years ago. I don't remember her name, but she had a booklet or something of affirmations that she had put together. She shared it with me. She gave it to me, and I wrote them all out. I mean, they're very long, very detailed. Okay, I don't remember her name. I didn't even think about this before I got on here, but I have it. I have them written down. Matter of fact, if you go maybe about 2 years ago here on my channel, I did do some videos with I guess you call them meditation videos or whatever. Some of those have affirmations in them. Some of those are her affirmations. Okay. The first four that I say: I'm wonderful, I am marvelous, I am magnificent, I am splendid. Those four, I was listening to, this was about, this was before I started my first YouTube channel, which was in 2019. So it was probably about 2017. I was listening to Dr. Yafa. She had a website. I don't think she has that website anymore, maybe, but I did, there was a program she did on there. It was more than 8 classes. Someone on here, because I found it, they have a playlist of that show, but they only have 8 of them. I swear it was about 20, a 25 part series, whatever. I listened to all of it, and she mentioned that she had a friend, and she would, every time she asked her how she was doing, she would say, "I'm wonderful, I'm marvelous, I'm magnificent, I'm splendid." Not, "Oh, I'm okay today, I'm good." You know what I'm saying? And I got that from her. Also, when I was with the Hebrews, I studied with the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem quite a few years ago. When we were always supposed to greet one another and, and showing concern for your fellow human there, ask how we were doing. And we were told to say that we were excellent. Even if we didn't feel a particular way. How are you? You know, excellent. We had class. When we would have class on Sundays, you know, they would get up in front of class. How's everyone doing today? Everyone would say out loud with a booming, excellent, you know. It raises the vibration, okay? It raises your vibrations. Even if you don't feel, you know, excellent. It's not a matter of how you feel. It's not supposed to be about how you feel. The affirmation is not supposed to be about how you feel. The affirmation is supposed to be about what is. And what, since you are the master and creator of your own fate, and you are the master and creator of your own destiny, it is not about how you feel. It is about what is. You speak, just as ye are gods. Gods what? God speak. God spoke. And therefore it was. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. How did he do that? He spoke. And when this, according to this Bible in Genesis, and when he spoke, it was. Okay, whatever he spoke, then boom, there it was. Then the scriptures go on to tell us in Psalms, I think it's Psalms 82:6, I believe, and then in the New Testament, okay, where Jesus or Yeshua said, you know, I am God, ye are gods. Okay, you made in the image and likeness thereof. Let us, okay, make man in our own image. Okay, we can go into depth about that. We're just going to stay with it right here for the time being, okay? Not too in depth, okay? So, what do gods do? You made in the image and likeness thereof, okay? The blinders have been taken off of humankind. Now you can see, you can, you know, good, quote unquote, good from evil. So what will you do? How will you manifest? How will you create? You are a co-creator with God. You create your world, your realm, your destiny. You are the master and creator of your fate. You are the master and creator of your destiny. How do you create? You speak. That is one way. Okay. That is part, okay, of the way in which you do that. Now, when anybody says to you, you are, doesn't matter. We'll just use Jesus as an example, Yeshua as an example. He said, I am, okay, I am God. I am the Son of God, blah, 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 this, that, and other. No one told him that he was. Matter of fact, everybody was telling him, who do you think you are? He didn't care what anybody said about him, about who he was. This is, I am. Okay, I am that I am. Okay, who when Moses stood before the bush, who are you? I am that I am. Go do blah, 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 this, that, and other. To create the nation that he wanted, that particular deity wanted to create. Okay. So you being the micro to the macro, the mini universe to the, okay, or even multiverse in your being, you create, you say who and what you are. Okay. You don't wait and expect and hope and pray and wish that someone tells you that you're wonderful, marvelous, splendid, excellent, so on and so forth. You do that, okay, for yourself. Okay. So again, it raises the vibration here. Okay. You are attesting to and affirming, standing on your square. Okay, what is that? What cards are that? What? Hold on, let me look up something for a second. Seven of Wands, standing on your square. I am what I say that I am. Not what they say that I am, or mama say that I am, or daddy, or whoever. Assholes, liars, so on and so forth. No, I am. Okay. So once again, I am the master and creator of my thing. These are, okay, these affirmations here. Now those affirmations that I say at the beginning of the video are just, you know, I'm not, at one time I did, I think a series of readings where I did I think I did like 20 affirmations. Okay, I'm not going to do that every single time. Okay, but it just shows you can go on and on and on and on. Now you, people with this, let me look up something real quick. Now, people who say, oh, I don't believe in affirmations. That's interesting. You know, it's like, what do you mean you don't believe in affirmations? Now, let me read this real quick. Affirmations are positive statements. Okay? This is what I'm reading off Google. used to reinforce desired beliefs and outcomes, helping to what? Reprogram negative thought patterns and build self-confidence. Okay. If you're not affirming yourself in the positive, you are more than likely affirming yourself in the negative. Because everyone always has some thought about how they feel about themselves. Everybody. I remember when I was younger, when I was a kid, I used to hear people say, "Oh, you crazy. If you talk to yourself, that means you're crazy." Okay. No, and I used to think to myself, well, that sounds kind of silly because I talk to myself all the time. How do people not talk to themselves? Well, when you look at some people's behavior, it seems as though maybe they don't. But really what it is, that maybe their critical thinking skills is nil, okay? But besides that, really what they were saying was people that you may see on the street babbling, okay, just talking, okay. But pretty much everybody talks to themselves about something all day fucking long. You're thinking to yourself. That's what some people, when they say go meditate, what's the problem that some people have? What some people's instructions in meditating is to still the mind and to quiet the mind. And so what issue do a lot of people have with meditating? They feel like they can't do it because they're thoughts constantly thinking. You're thinking to yourself, you're talking to yourself. Okay. You may not say, like, my name is Nikki, hey Nikki, blah blah, no, but you're steadily talking to yourself. If you are not affirming yourself in the positive about who and what you are more than likely affirming to yourself in the negative. So we are always in a state of affirming ourselves. We are all, it's not about believing in affirmations. You always affirming to yourself something about yourself all the time. I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm not this, or I'm not that, or I am this and I am that. I just have disdain for this term that people affirm to themselves 24/7. I'm not perfect. I hate that. That's ridiculous. Because we are perfect beings. Okay, that's another video, which I did one, I'll do it again. Okay, but we are constantly in a state of affirming something to ourselves, whether it's in the positive or the negative. So you say, I don't believe in affirmations. Basically, I feel like there is an expectation that a person has, okay, with the affirmation. Okay, maybe I don't know what do you expect. Okay, well, you say, Nikki, Miss Kenyatta, Goddess Queen Kenyatta, you say that you all said you were excellent. What if you're sick? If the body is not well, that does not mean that you and your being are not an excellent being. What are you talking about? This is what I'm saying. If you feel blue and glum or you're depressed, it does not mean that you in your being as a human being, that you are not wonderful, that you are not marvelous, that you are not magnificent, that you are not splendid, that you are not perfect, that you are not healthy, that you are not wealthy, that you are not wise. You are in your humanity simply because you are. I am that I am. I am. Ye are gods, made in the image. If you can't handle that, for those maybe Christians who may be watching or whatever, okay, or your faith or whatever says something else, or maybe you I don't know, you're an atheist or whatever. Okay, fine, all right, but just in your humanity, in your being. It's not about a feeling. You don't wait to feel a particular way to say that, okay, now I feel wonderful, so I can. No, it's not about a feeling. How you physically feel, or even how you mentally feel, that is not the affirmation. It's not based on your feeling. The affirmation is based on the knowing. And what did it say here? The knowing and asserting strongly that, and publicly, even if publicly is to yourself, okay, that you are, that I am, because I am. We have to understand something here. In this society, in this world that we live, we always talking about, the matrix and so on, but yet that's why I say that it's so very detailed. Okay, the system, okay, that ever since the movie came out, we call it the Matrix. Okay, you may find it called something else in some religions. Okay, I don't know, Maya, illusion, and you can find in Hinduism, samsara, reincarnation, continuous coming back. Okay, so that movie, that wasn't the first time. You understand? Okay, I think even what's his name? People laughed at him. David Icke, he talked about it long before the movie came out. Some of that may have been based on his talks. I'm sure people have been talking about it forever, long before that movie. Okay, but the point is for you to not see who you truly are, so that you can come back and do it over again and over again, constantly, over and over, and be on that samsara once again, which I was talking about when I talked about what is love. Okay, constantly reincarnating over and over again, keep coming back into this prison system, because it is. Okay. But even in that, remember I talked about the loopholes before. Even in that, there is. Some people call Earth a place of learning. Okay, even in that, the kind of quote unquote prison system, matrixy type thing or whatever, there is still, you can say, a beauty that exists in it all. The beauty of it's sad to say, some, like I was saying before, some people say, life is a game. This reality that we are living is a game. Okay, you have to find your way out of it, lest you come back to it. Now, when I took my journey, okay, I found that was the case. I wanted to run out in the streets and scream at everybody, "Y'all wake up! It's just a game. It's just a game." Okay. Now I know some people may have a problem with that, so whatever. Those who understand, follow along. Okay. When I say just, I'm not minimizing it and saying, well, in a way, I was kind of minimizing it. Okay, it's not. It's the illusion, the Maya. It's illusion. All right. Well, then, how do we free ourselves from this? Okay. I have more to say about the game, but I won't right now. Okay. But here is another way. Okay. This is more, when I speak, I'm not speaking to you to give you any kind of information for you to say, okay, now I can go take these teachings here, and it's going to help me elevate so I can go be a famous star and a billionaire or a millionaire. I'm sure in some ways it can assist you in that. Okay, I don't have millions in the bank, but like I said last time when I did the video, I think everybody in America is a fucking millionaire, at least. Look at how much money you've spent in your life. You've spent millions. You may not have a lump sum of millions in the bank, but we're consumers. This is what we do. We spend. Okay? That's how capitalism works. Okay, but nevertheless. Because that is still just a part of the system. Okay, you are still under. You still have guidelines and rules and things that you have to follow. In other words, you're still going to be under subjection to what? Those principalities. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but powers and principalities, so on and so forth. Let me find the scripture so I can quote it correctly. Okay. Here, Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of what? Of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. It didn't say anywhere that I can think of, as far as the scriptures are concerned, as the Holy Bible is concerned, that you'll never make it out. Even when we talk about Hinduism and samsara and the will, constantly coming over and over and over again, it never said that you wouldn't make it out or that you could not make it out. Like you can. But you must understand, okay, that this is what you are wrestling against. This is what your fight is against. Okay? Rulers of the darkness of this world. Hold on. Now here we have 2 Corinthians 4 verse 4 where it says, Satan, who is the god of this world. It's in the book. It's in that book. It's in that book we call the Holy Bible. 2 Corinthians 4:4. Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. I don't believe in affirmations. Even though, again, Jesus, Yeshua, affirmed, I am that I am. I am God. And why do you marvel, he said, when they got an attitude, when they look down on him? Well, how the hell can you say that? Why do you marvel? It's in your book. It's in the old book. It's in the Psalms. Ye are gods. You don't want the people to know. You don't want them to see. You want them to be blinded. These Pharisees and Sadducees who were ruled by what? Those who sat in high places. Rulers of the darkness. Those who was paid, okay, to keep people bound and stuck. Here it continues to say, those who don't believe, they are unable to see the glorious light of the good news. They don't understand this message about the glory of Christ, who is the exact likeness of God. Christ. Christ means anointed. The anointed one, Jesus the Christ, who became anointed in his knowing of who he was. We can all become a Christ, just like Buddha. Buddhahood, okay? What does that mean? Buddha means awakened. Okay. So back to the affirmations here. So if you are, and so what we see when I say that these principalities, these forces, high places, they are always sending us messages about ourselves. The messages usually are not positive. The messages are negative. They send messages through pictures. They send it through a commentary. They send it through media. Okay, all the time. In some way, shape, or form. Every time I think about that, I think of, I got my air conditioner on too, but I think of billboards. Okay, because, we still have billboards, but I just remember being young person, always looking at billboards. And imagery. Okay, this is one way that people are caught. Imagery. I'll use the example of smoking, for example. Like back in the day, I mean, smoking wasn't a big deal like it is now, when I was younger, okay? As I pick up my vape. But we're talking about smoking cigarettes. So one way in which they were able to get people to smoke was through imagery, movies and whatnot. Who would be smoking? Usually the person, they look cool, okay? So usually you would find people who started smoking would do so in their younger age because, want to be cool. Okay? Size, a person's physical size. Okay? With the whole, that's the physical, the physicality which can be changed. Okay? It doesn't have anything. I'm not perfect. I'm a size. What? What's the perfect size? Based off of what? The imagery that you have been. But who told you? Just like Malcolm X said, who told you these things? Who told you this shit? Who told you that was your, whatever your size is not perfect? Based off of what? So I used to wear, I used to wear glasses. I had LASIK eye surgery maybe about 2020, 2019, something like that. But I wore contact lenses for years, most of my life, and then I went and had the LASIK eye surgery. So I had this book long before I had the LASIK eye surgery. I had these two books. One was called "Take Off Your Glasses and See." Okay. And in the book, and then there was another book, I can't remember the name of the other book, but they were talking about how you could do eye exercises to improve your eyesight. But at the beginning, they were saying that the whole 2020 vision, did anybody ever think, what is the 2020 vision based off of? What is it based off? Who? Whose eyesight is it? Was some eye doctor who had a secretary, and it was based off of her eyesight. Who the fuck is she? You understand? This is the history. This is the history. So they have been using this one person's, field of vision to determine what everyone else's field of vision should be. Why? What made hers perfect? Obviously, or what made hers the right one? Obviously, nothing. Okay. So most of the things that we are told about us is not really based on, if we take the time to question, where did that come from? Why? What is it based off of? And you find something silly like that, or erroneous, or some hypothesis, like I said before, which is not 100% exact science. Nothing is. They always tell me, this is our hypothesis. This is what we have determined based off what we have seen thus far. And then here, years later, again, we do another experiment to find that, okay, that was flawed. Here is a more up-to-date hypothesis still. Okay. Constantly studying, like the scriptures say, constantly looking. Let me see if I can find it so I can quote it exact. Here it is. 2 Timothy 3:7. Always learning, but never able to come to a knowledge of the truth. Ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth, what the exact truth is. But these principalities of these dark, what did it say exactly? Of this darkness here, okay, powers, principalities, rulers of the darkness, okay, spiritual wickedness. Spiritual, what are we? Spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay. Are constantly throwing things at us, basically from your conception on, because whatever the mother and the father takes in goes into the child. Now, it's not just physical. Okay. Taking on whatever these powers, principalities, okay, rulers. You ain't the ruler. They the fucking rulers of the world, of this world. Okay, maybe Satan's army, since he's the god of this world, according to these scriptures here. Okay. All right. Rulers of the darkness of the world against spiritual wickedness. Okay, in high places. And so they're the rulers. They are the ones who are going to tell us this is what your thought process should be. We're going to tell you what to think. We're going to tell you what to believe through every institution that we create, because we are the rulers of this world. I'm not saying me, I'm just saying, okay, from that perspective, understand. So you follow and you fall in line, okay, because that's what you're going to do. Why is that what you're going to do? Because that's how intricate and detailed it is. The system that we are living under, that we are living in. They have the rulers who sit in high places. And like I said before, if you name them, then that ain't them. Trust. If you can name them, that ain't them. They might be high, but they're rulers over them. Why would they make themselves known to you? Please. So what can we do? One of the things that I'm saying to you that we can do to rescue ourselves, free ourselves, is affirm who we are. And your affirmation is not based upon how you feel. It has nothing to do with how you feel. It is based on what the truth, what is, and what is that you are. So yes, you are excellent because you are. You're wonderful simply because you are. Okay, now, hold on. So I can find this real quick. Okay, the researcher Masaru Emoto, a Japanese researcher who gained worldwide acclaim for his work regarding the purported effect of human consciousness on the molecular structure of water. His work claimed that water's physical structure could be altered, okay, by emotional energies and vibrations, suggesting it's a blueprint for our reality. I'm going to read that again. His work claimed that water's physical structure could be altered by emotional energies and vibrations, suggesting it's a blueprint for our reality. In his water crystal experiments, Emoto exposed water samples to different words, pictures, or music before freezing them and observing the resulting ice crystals under a microscope. He asserted that positive intentions and words, positive affirmations, or let's just say the truth, affirming the truth, like love and gratitude. Isn't water love? Isn't water, shouldn't we be grateful for? We need water. It's love. It's life-giving love. Which is life-giving love. I want to do a part 2 to my, was it last Sunday? Whenever I did the talk on love, I want to do a part 2 on that, okay? And gratitude. Being grateful for it. Produce aesthetically pleasing crystal formations, whereas negative expressions led to what? Distorted patterns. Now this is documented. He documented his findings and experiments in several books, including The Hidden Messages in Water. Okay. Of course, the scientific community criticized it because the scientific community is a part of who rules it? Who rules the institutions? Rulers of the darkness of this world. So anything that they don't have their hands on, they're going to criticize. Oh, that'll work. When done in our lab. Goddamn, this is going to help the motherfuckers. So we have to put a seed of doubt into the public. Just like herbal medicines and things of that nature. How many thousands and millions of people say, this shit worked. Okay. Well, no. We haven't done it in our, if the motherfuckers start doing that, goddamn, they're going to start healing themselves, which they already have the ability to do. We know that. But it's going to cut down on, the money. Okay. And then and we lose money, and then we will lose our control over their fucking asses. So we have to plant seeds of doubt. I'm not saying that it does, that the Western medicine does not have benefits, please. Okay. Oh, let's open our understanding. Doesn't have to be one or the other, but this is the thing. They want you to believe it has to be one over the other. All right. Now, this is water here. I remember they had all kind of videos on YouTube about this way back. Okay. Hold that thought. Now, what is the percentage of water in the human body? Around 55 to 60% of the adult human body is water. You speak those positive affirmations to yourself. Or I don't even want to say that. You speak the truth to yourself. Because you know, you don't, you walking around with your head held down like you ain't shit. How? Or you find yourself putting yourself in situations that, because of such great insecurities, what are the insecurities based off of? Okay, mama didn't talk to me right. This one didn't talk to me right. That one. It's not anything with, it's stuff that has come from outside of you. Things that people have said to you. Think that however the people are. Mother, father, sister, brother, family, friend, quote unquote friends. Okay, peers, media. I'm pointing to my TV right here. Media, so on and so forth. Telling you everything that you ain't. Hence the constant affirming, I ain't perfect. I ain't perfect. Constantly. Yet, those scriptures tell you to be ye perfect as I am perfect. Because you are. We're talking about the in your being. Your soul being, your spirit. Yes, we want to grow. We want to develop, we want to learn, we want to actualize, we want to awaken, all of that, so on and so forth. It does not mean that you are not in perfection, simply because you are, you exist. How can a God create something if God is creating in its likeness and create anything less than what it is, perfect? Soul being. So, once again with the affirmations, it's not about how you feel, it's about what it is. Okay, and understand this. I kind of had an experiment with myself one time years ago, okay? I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't trying to do it. I just found that it happened. So, for those of you who know, okay, when you go, perimenopause can wreak havoc and hell on you. Okay, and men go through andropause. Maybe let's talk about that one day too. Okay, but it can wreak some serious hell and havoc on your motherfucking ass, physically and mentally. And it's very little. There's not as well. People are starting to talk about it more, which I think is great, because when that shit hit me like a fucking storm, you know, up out of hell, and I had to research to find what the fuck is going on with me. Okay, because one day I was like, oh my God, I'm about to die. I was praying, God, please give me longer, okay? But nevertheless, so, you know, after God knows how many doctor visits, and everybody, we can't find shit wrong with you, blah, 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 this, that, and that. The one woman was going to do some surgery, but going to tell me, but don't Google what I'm telling you have. And I looked that shit up. I was like, bitch, I don't have this. I'm not paying for your vacation to fucking wherever it is you want to go. And then I'd be fucked up for life. Okay. Not long after that, she wasn't working there. I know she wasn't. Okay. And please, people, with this, you know, I'm only going to go to as black women doctor. She was a black female doctor. Some of the greatest help that I've had have been from people that were not my race nor my gender. Okay. But anyway, them was the ones with some goddamn sense. And said, this is what's happening with you. Okay. But anyway, so I started researching myself. And I said, I had never heard, I'm like, what the fuck is perimenopause? I've never heard of this shit before. Okay, so nevertheless, that began my journey with that. One of the top symptoms of that is anxiety. Okay, you get anxiety attacks, panic attacks. I never had that shit before. Matter of fact, I had it, that fuck gym that I talk about, I had one there one time. I didn't know what was happening. I thought it was knocking on death's door. That's when that stuff started to hit me like a storm. Okay, up out of hell. Okay. But anyway, and I had a number of them after that. Well, and I'm researching and I'm looking and I'm saying, this is what this is. This is what I have. So it can also wreak havoc on you emotionally. Your hormones. I always think of hormones as like the batteries of the physical body. Okay, and you know how when the battery starts to die, you know how things act. It sputters and so on and so forth till it's just dead. Okay. And I find myself, probably besides to some of the black magic witchcraft that folks were doing to me in the background. Had a lot being heaped on me. Okay. So I found myself in the bed one day, I was just so down, so incredibly down. And I was thinking all of these negative things to myself about myself, because a lot of times when you're in that mid that age range, okay, where the pauses come on, perimenopause, andropause. I didn't say menopause, I said perimenopause. You begin to do a lot of ruminating, woulda, shoulda, coulda shit. Okay, and you begin to look back over your life. I didn't do this, I didn't do that, and then just start berating yourself. I found myself, I was laying there, I did it so much, my body started to literally shake, you know, and I got really scared. I was shaking, my body was shaking, and then something hit me. Stop saying what you're saying to yourself about yourself. Stop. Speak the opposite. And I did. And immediately, I mean, it wasn't an all night thing. Immediately, as soon as I started saying the positive or the truth, my body stopped shaking. My mind was elevated. My spirit was elevated. I felt much better. There have been times, especially with that anxiety, okay, during this stage, you fucking driving on a fucking freeway. Here come a panic attack, anxiety attack out of no goddamn where. You're on the freeway, okay, and I used to be a fast driver, okay, and then hit you, okay, and then panic ensues. Okay, you ain't trying to kill yourself, nobody else. Immediately, the positive affirmations, the truth. Not just, don't just look at it as, okay, I'm gonna say some positive affirmation. No, the truth. And I do not care what people have said to you in your life about you. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. It's in the scripture. When I became a man, a woman, an adult, I put away childish things. Not necessarily the things that are immature, the things of a child. So if someone spoke negative things to you as a child, those are the things of your childhood. Put them away. Throw those away. It is not for anyone else to determine and tell you who and what you are. When I became an adult, I put away childish things. It doesn't matter who it was. Do not allow yourself to feel like, well, because mama was abusive to me and didn't love me, and dad didn't love me, and daddy wasn't there, and all of that kind of thing, to determine your being. It may hurt. Okay, I got a different thought process on that. My thought process is, I don't give a fuck who it was, whose vessel you came through. Well, this is what the rulers have told you. A mother is supposed to love you. A mother is supposed to blah. And a mother is supposed to nurture. And a mother is supposed to, etc. Okay, but you came through one who didn't. And what does that mean? That you are worthless? No. You were created and you were brought here for a reason. Whatever the reason is. It's not based on her love or lack of for you, nor anyone else's. Do not allow and rest and rely on somebody else's thoughts about you determine you. Why? Because they got their own shit. What did the scripture say? Take the mote out of your own eye. They need to take the mote out of their own eye. And while they're doing that, you do it for you. And walk in your strength and your power and your you and your beingness. It has nothing to, your beingness has nothing to do. Like, you know how they say, how a person feel about you ain't none of your business. You got them right. It's not. I mean, you know, you can listen. Why? Especially if it's some old foolishness, some old negative shit. Who are they? They can determine who they are. Moving the fuck on. And be in you. And understand that I am. When they came, when Jesus was there teaching, Yeshua was there teaching, and his mother came and his brother came, and hey, your mom and your brother out there, I ain't got time for that. Who is my mother and my brother except those who hear my words and follow me? I don't have time. I'm about my Father's business. I'm about work. They can wait. Or I don't have to see them at all. Understand. Do not allow anyone or anything to make the determination for you of the who and what that you are. And the truth of the matter is yes, I am wonderful. I am marvelous. I am magnificent. I am splendid. I am perfect. I am thankful. I am grateful. I am love. God is love. We went over that last week. God is love. Ye are gods. I am loved. Well, Mama, so you exist. Do you love you? And if you don't, let's figure that out. Let's work on that. It is for you to love you. Today used to tell us back in the day, you know, you can't love nobody else. A person can't love you if they don't love themselves. I am loved. I am loved. I am loving. You are loved. Someone loves you. You, even if it's just you, you love you. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I am loving, and I am lovable simply because I am, because ye are gods, made in the image and likeness thereof. Like I said in the Hindus, I am God. Not like Christian thoughts, the master and creator. Open your thinking and your understanding. Okay. We'll do that. We'll go over that, a little bit of that Hinduism, so that you can have an understanding. So you're not sitting there with a mind the size of a pea, like these rulers of the darkness, these powers and these principalities want you to be, so that you're stuck, so that you cannot be a free being. You cannot be a free will being, so that you have to keep coming here over and over and over again, soul trapped, never coming to the knowledge of the truth. This is what is happening, and this is what they want. I am the master and creator of my own fate. What even the Buddha told them on his deathbed: do not listen to me. I've been awakened to my questions. You must follow the light that lights your own path, is what he said. But human beings tend to be very codependent, and we have to lean on the words of another. This is what they were trying to teach us. Stop. Here, understand. Okay. No, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. I am. You know, it's like I'm hearing the power that manifests in me is the power that is within you. I can do all things through Christ, not Jesus. Christ that strengthens me. The anointing, it is there for the taking. So the asking. Okay. I'm hearing the word abundance. But nevertheless, back to the affirmations. So understand, if you're not affirming, if you want to say the positives, okay, we'll say positive. Okay. Or the truth of who and what you are, trust, you're doing it. You're affirming the negative about yourself, which keeps you low, not grounded. Okay. I am here in a space of distrust. Okay. Lack of belief, lack of understanding, lack of knowing of what? Of self. Know thyself. Okay. Know the truth of who and what you are, your being. Okay. Like they used to say when we was kids. Okay. God made me and God didn't make no junk. Something that simple. All right. All right. I think that's all I want to say. All right. So begin to, don't don't erase the idea of having to feel a certain way. It's not based off of a feeling. Feelings have their place. But these are words of truth, not words of feeling. I feel it today. Just like we were talking about the in love thing versus love. You talking about a feeling. Feelings are fleeting. They come and go. That's not the truth. Okay. The truth is solid. The truth is eternal. It is always. It will always be the truth. Be the master and creator of your own fate and your own destiny. So on and so forth and the like. All right. All right. 6:03. It's time for me to cook dinner. All right. I will come back with some readings later. All right. All right. You all have favor. Peace.